Hello, and welcome back. If you are new here, you won't have noticed anything has changed, but I'm still very glad to have you here. If you have been around for a while, though, first of all, thank you for coming back. It is greatly appreciated. Second of all, you probably noticed something changed, specifically maybe the name of the channel. The most interesting people that I have met, in my opinion, are those who kind of let their boredom direct their lives. They try something, they enjoy it for a little bit, they get kind of good at it, they get bored of it, they go try something else. I have actually kind of already done this. After high school, I went to college for a physics degree so that I could go into astrophysics research. Throughout that degree, I decided that astrophysics research is incredibly boring and that's not what I wanted to do with my life, so I tried teaching, decided I didn't like that, and now I am going for a second degree so that I can get into general audience science communication. So, because I don't really know what my life is going to look like moving forward, and I don't really know what content I'm going to want to be creating for myself in general moving forward, I wanted this channel to be able to be kind of a space of chaos where I can just share whatever I personally feel like sharing in the moment instead of having to feel like I have to stick strictly to bullet journal type content. On the note of bullet journal content, we are actually going to kick things off today by talking about how I got bored of bullet journaling and what I decided to do about it. So this video is effectively split into three sections: why I got bored of bullet journaling, the criteria that I had for a new system, and the new system that I wound up creating. This video should have some timestamp or chapter thingies down below as long as I can figure out how to do that. If I can't figure out how to do the chapters, I will just have timestamps in the description box below, so feel free to jump to wherever you need to. So with that, let's get into it. So I personally began my bullet journal journey back in 2018 while I was a full-time student, and pretty much just a full-time student. That was it. That was all I was doing. Apparently that was 4 years ago, which still feels fake, but that's a side tangent. So I was initially drawn into this particular system just because it promised a creative outlet, and I was also able to include trackers. So habit trackers, gratitude trackers, all the various trackers that you have seen all over YouTube and Instagram and Pinterest. I'm currently a freelance science content creator. If you need someone to help out with that, hit me up. I'm also a full-time college student at this particular moment in time, which is I had still continued to use it because I didn't think there was anything that would have served me particularly better over time. But then I caught COVID. I got COVID about a month and a half ago, which is why there haven't been any videos recently. But now that I am pretty much recovered with just some lasting effects, bringing my energy and motivation down overall, I needed a new system that could better work with the new kind of attributes I have post-COVID. So for me, there just wasn't really enough space in a traditional bullet journal system to really be able to keep track of every single thing that I wanted to do as easily as I wanted to be able to keep track of it. So the main thing that I was looking for was the ability to have large chunks of space and be able to easily move around tasks. So obviously you have something that you have written directly on the page in pen, you cannot move that around. In a bullet journal, you also don't have the ability to use even like the really tiny flag stickies. Um, these ones, they don't really fit in there. So I decided that I had to come up with something completely new and completely different. The only part of the bullet journaling process that I had been using that is still working for me is actually daily logging. So I have this little traveler sized notebook. I got mine from Archer and Olive. I don't think you can get this exact one, but I will have their store linked down below. I will also have something somewhat equivalent but cheaper that I found on Amazon also linked down below. Yeah, also everything that you see later in the video will be linked down below. So feel free to go down there, check those out, and recreate the system for yourself if you want to. Anyway, the daily logging part I still really love because it lets me have space when I am having a really crazy day. My brain just isn't keeping track of anything and I need to write down everything. But it's also not structured the way a weekly or monthly is, where I actually have to use it, and if I don't, then it is still messed up for the rest of the week or month that it exists. So, keeping in mind what I did like and what I didn't like about the bullet journal system, and knowing that I had to keep the daily log system somewhere in my life, I tried to come up with something else that would work, keeping this in my life and pulling all of the pieces of a bullet journal that I liked while eliminating all the pieces that I didn't. So I felt when I started looking for this new system that I didn't want to ask much of it. I needed to keep track of events. I wanted to be able to easily move and repeat tasks. I wanted to be able to color code tasks as for me, for others, for school, or general life obligations for work and existing in society. And I wanted to have it be a really quick and easy setup. That last part is kind of what killed me. I didn't want anything that could give me habit trackers or productivity trackers or gratitude trackers or anything, because since I got COVID, I'm not keeping up with those anyway. I'm lucky if I got to them once a week over the past couple of months, because I just don't have the energy or motivation to keep up with it, nor do I have the memory capacity to keep track of what I should be putting in them each week. So, because I wanted to be able to color code tasks and move them around easily, I immediately thought of some online system that would probably exist that was nice and simple and would do everything that I wanted it to. I spent hours scouring the internet for a task management system that would allow me to input tasks I wanted into a running list and then move those tasks into and around my calendar as needed without needing hours to set up. And it would also kind of like put my events in and tell me I couldn't move those. And I couldn't do it. It doesn't exist. I didn't want to do anything that I had to pay for. I wasn't really willing to spend $12, $15 a month on a productivity system. That seems ridiculous. First world problems, I know. But still, even with that, I tried probably over a dozen websites. I checked Notion and ClickUp and Trello and Asana and Milano and Google Tasks and Ntask and Monday and Emotion and just all of the things, Todoist, whatever. I could not find one that would give me just input tasks, color coded, drag them into calendar, and that was all. That was it. That's all I wanted. If you are a programmer and you would like to make money off of the idea of a website that just has a running list of tasks on one side and a calendar on the other side, go right ahead. Bonus points if you can change views to weekly and daily. I really just wanted Google Calendar with the ability to color code tasks. That's really what I wanted, but it doesn't exist. And as they say, if you want something done right, do it yourself. So I did. After giving up on finding a productivity system that somebody else had made, I decided that I was just going to make my own. It is an analog system sitting on the desk behind me, and it comes to you in 2 parts. So let's look at what we're doing with that. So part 1 of the system, as we said, is still this traveler's size bullet journal for daily logging. Again, I'll have links to our journal as well as a cheaper journal of the same size down in the description box below, along with everything else that you will see me used today. So part 2 of this system is the interesting bit. It is the DIY bit. I couldn't find a physical planner or desk calendar at Walmart that I liked, possibly because I was there in October. But what I did find were sticky notes, Sharpies, and a poster board with a grid. So I brought all of it home and made the beautiful calendar you see before you. I started this off on the week that I actually created it, which was a little bit into October, so it's a little cut off. I also have a decent chunk of November on the bottom. The setup for this was incredibly simple. I put a column on the left for all of the tasks that I want to do eventually or that I will need to do at some point. The bottom of this column is where I've been keeping any accomplishments that I have throughout the week. So any stickies that get done, the task on them is completed, or the project has been finished, they get to go down here, and I will show you where they go after that later. We also have everything that you would expect from a calendar. This allows me to write in my core events that I can't move, along with the times that they will take. It also allows me to take and move tasks around my calendar however I need to. And the color code was super easy to create. I chose 4 colors, one for stuff for me, stuff for others, stuff for school, stuff for work. You could, of course, pick more colors, no colors, whatever you wanted, whatever worked best for you and your planning needs right now. So again, using this setup is pretty easy. It took me maybe 30 minutes to create this entire calendar, which included the time I needed to count the boxes and do some math to actually create it. Writing in tasks and color coding them is a lot quicker and a lot simpler than it would be on any online system that could serve a similar purpose, at least for me personally. So that was really important to me, to make it all very quick, very simple, very easy. What I generally do is go through on a Sunday. You could pick whatever day you want, or do this more than once a week, stick to only once a month, whatever you needed. I will pull whatever stickies I need, or create any stickies that I need, and put them in for the month to come. Say that we are looking at the 10th through the 16th here, and let's say that I know I have a discussion post and a homework due. Let's say that I also have a quiz and a work project that all need to be finished. I can see what my events are, how long they'll take. I know all of the tasks that I have to complete, and I can now pull in fun things like designing my next tattoo, filming this YouTube video, maybe spending time with a friend delivering the stuffed animal that I got that I still need to give them. Whatever I would want to do, I can put it in. Let's say we get to Tuesday, it's a weird day, I'm not feeling good, I don't finish designing my next tattoo. That's fine, I can just move it to the next day that it feels like it would fit without stressing me out. So from here, on days that I feel like I need a little bit more of a game plan, I can pull out the daily log, take tasks from the calendar, put them in here. I can take notes on anything that appears throughout the day that would need to go back in here. And it's just kind of a nice little cyclical system that feeds off of itself and keeps my life vaguely in order. So the other nice thing about this is that there is an entire backside to this calendar, and that is where I have a reflection section for the month. So we're still in the middle of October. Obviously I don't have this filled in. This is also the first month I'm using this setup, so I don't have a filled in version to show you. But we've started pulling it together. So over here I have the achieved section. So this is everything that I actually did throughout the month. All of the stickies that get to come off the front go to the bottom left. They now end up here. For any repeat tasks, all of which are still on the front, I just have little tally marks on the sticky notes so that I know how many times I did a particular repeat task. So this section is split into things for me, things that I did to care for others, things that were required of me for school, and things that were required for me as a human who exists, like getting my car inspected and completing work projects. When we get to the actual reflection part, I'll be able to see really easily what % of my time went to each category throughout this month. I also have a spot to keep track of my big wins and my big losses. So the best things that happened this month and the things that could have gone a little bit better. I find it really important to keep track of both of these, just so that I know what will actually affect my brain how moving forward. These last 2 sections are about making sure that I personally feel cared for and loved. This is a relatively new concept that I'm trying to get better at. Regardless of how many people may love me unconditionally, I'm the only one with the power to allow myself to feel unconditional love on a constant basis, and I deserve that. Obviously, some days are going to be better than others in terms of being able to care for myself, but I wanted to actually kind of keep track of what I did to make me feel cared for. And so maybe actually cooking a meal instead of just going out to eat. And what I can do next month to make myself feel even more cared for. So maybe making a meal that I actually like and that is actually decent for me rather than just ramen. And that is my bullet journal replacement system. It's in some ways I feel like I have gone from a bullet journal to a bullet poster board, but honestly that's okay. It's been working really, really well for me over the past few weeks, and I'm hoping it will continue to do so at least for a few months until I get bored. If this kind of content is interesting to you, then please feel free to hit like and subscribe and the little bell icon, and check out my other links in the description to find me in other places on the internet. You can also feel free to comment down below, let me know about the productivity system you have, what you think of the one I just made, where you are in your bullet journal journey. If you do want extra bullet journal inspiration, I will have playlists linked in places to the setups that I've done so far. And also feel free to leave a comment on what you want to see me do next. It'll probably be a lot of productivity type content, a lot of self-care content. That is something that I definitely need to work on and prioritize. It'll also probably be some science content on account of who I am as a person. If you know, you know. And with that, thank you all so much for hanging out. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And until next time, stay curious and creative. Bye.